What is the impact of culture on your peer-led substance abuse, HIV, and hepatitis prevention programs? Is it just Latinos talking to Latinos in Spanish and ergo we're culturally appropriate? Those are the types of questions that we want to ask, though that some of the responses we've been getting back. But what we're going to do today is to put that all in the framework. I've brought together several experts in the field of culture and HIV and substance abuse prevention to talk to you, first of all, about culture and the definition of culture and how culture is actualized. And in your respective breakout groups, you're going to talk about how you're integrating culture in your programs.
My name is Efren Maldonado, and I'm originally from Puerto Rico, but I've been living in Minnesota for the past 14 years. It's always a challenge for me to talk about the Latino culture because of the diversity that is within the Latinos. Like I said, I'm Puerto Rican. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, so my experience coming to the USA, to the United States, is totally different to somebody else who came to Central America, to somebody else who came without documentation, to somebody else who came on a visa. So in that sense, I can't really represent their experience, but once I'm here, I can definitely talk a little bit about what we all go through once we get to the United States. I struggle still with my English, even though I've been working in the mainstream for many, many years. And I went to school here in the United States too. I got my bachelor's degree in the United States. So even if your level of acculturation might be higher than others because of whatever experience you might have, language is something that you will keep always, might be something that you will struggle with, and it doesn't have anything to do with your mental capacities.
Today I'm going to be talking about culture in the context of HIV. I think that's most relevant with why we're here this week, and it's going to be in the context of Native culture in a broad general sense. Confidentiality in rural, for those of you from rural communities where there may only be one health facility, chances are it's employed by folks that you know. And when we talk about doing risk assessments, when we talk about sexual behavior or drug use behavior, that's very personal and private information that you may not want to share with somebody that you know. So why do it if there would be a motivation to not go and get a risk assessment or get an HIV test for that very reason. So it's a deterrent. Issues of modesty. I don't know of anybody, maybe I'm wrong, who can walk up to a doctor and just start disclosing everything, talking about very personal and private behaviors and practices with a complete stranger. That is certainly more intensified with Native folks with regard to distrust of authority. Distrust of Western medicine, of a doctor that may not look or speak the way you do, and may use terminology and language that is somewhat not appropriate. And that ties into communication style.
Often what you will find in some Native communities, and I'm certainly not an expert at all on all Native communities at all. I'm just one Native person that has had some lived experience and a little bit of education, mostly by elders and spiritual leaders and other very knowledgeable community members on this subject. But what I've listened to and what I've heard them say, and this has been a little bit in hindsight, has been that in educating our youth in culturally relevant ways, especially through peer educator models, that's a way to bring that into the community, because as you may be aware of, in many Native communities, and it is kind of distorted in some ways by historical trauma, but there's a tremendous cultural value of family loyalty. And so if youth are speaking about this, and if youth are asking questions, or if youth want to talk to their families or their elders about what they've learned or what they've experienced, and they do have very positive, warm, open-minded, traditional people within their family group to be able to talk to in a safe way, that kind of education in that culturally specific way seems to be a lot more effective in Indian communities.
Our role is a protector and provider. And even though situations have changed from the day of the horse and buffalo, we're still protectors and providers, and we have to look out for our women and children, and we have to look out for the future for them. And as a warrior, you have to almost battle, go to battle and go to war to fight some of these things and declare war on HIV or substance abuse or drugs, those types of things. You have to declare war on them, and then actively fight and take a position on it to be able to protect the others of your tribe and other tribes. We have that we really don't fight other tribes anymore. We try to help each other, and that's part of it too.
What we're saying here is that there is a way in which I can be respectful and appreciative of the struggles, the challenges, and the triumphs that your community brings to the table. And that's a little bit different from saying I tolerate you. Because I say when you tolerate someone, it's like a hangnail. I tolerate that. But when I appreciate you, I'm saying, man, what you have is just as invaluable as what I have to bring to the table.